I just said you are allowed to ask questions. I prefaced the meeting by saying we have a lot of submitters. We've got a lot to get through, so I'd appreciate questions kept to the minimum. So that's the ruling I've made. Thank you. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Fiona, over to you.
Kia ora. Can you hear me? I have a quiet voice, so I will try to be heard. I'm Fionn from Auckland. I'm the Auckland CBO. Oh, is this my thing to change the slides? I haven't done this before, if someone can advise me. Is it maybe that one? Oh, I think I did it. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. Sorry about that. I'm Fionn from Auckland. I'm the CBO, and there's two main reasons that I ride a bike. One is for mobility, and one is the joy of cycling, which I find a lot more fun for getting around than a car. I have joint problems, so it can be quite painful for me to walk sometimes, but usually I can cycle right to the door of where I want to go. So it's really important to me for getting around. Today I'm presenting to you about Great North Road and the unprecedented amount of support that we have from the community for this project, and also some insights from myself and other everyday riders of this route. As you know, it's part of three projects in whole, and together they form a connected network which connects into a wider, safe network of cycleways. There's 9 schools along the route and 4,000 students which attend those schools. They need to have the safe choice to get there, walking and cycling. I got to cycle to school with my friends. It was a joy. I want children these days to have that choice as well. They don't have that choice if it's not safe. This is Great North Road. A lot of people will not cycle Great North Road because it feels really unsafe, and looking at these pictures, I'm sure you can understand why, especially with the large vehicles. As Boopsie said, a lot of parents won't let their children walk and cycle along this route either because it feels too unsafe, and I really don't blame them. I have grown my confidence to cycle this route, but I've had a lot of near misses. Just last week, we heard about someone who was involved in a crash on Great North Road between a car and a bike, someone cycling. We really hope that they're all okay. But just letting you know that not all of the crashes are recorded, and the longer we leave it, the more unsafe people are on this route. Many people are like this middle comment. They won't get a bike and they won't bother cycling while it's unsafe. And you can see from these comments as well that pedestrians and drivers are also unsafe on this road. But we can fix that. Research shows that putting cycleways along road spaces makes the whole road safer for everyone, drivers included. So this cycleways and the street project is not just about cyclists. This project gives a lot of things that we want from a street upgrade. It makes it more resilient, future fit, accessible, business friendly, and it connects into a wider network. And on accessibility, it's really important to note that it's more than mobility parking. It's also about the street itself. More than 28% of Aucklanders don't drive, and maybe that's because of different conditions like seizures, ADD, maybe they're like me and they have a lot of anxiety when they drive, or they are taking medication which stops them from driving, and they deserve the choice to get around safely. Some of them would cycle if they had the safe choice. Some physically disabled people also want to be able to cycle, but they don't have that choice while it's unsafe. We all need a safe and accessible cycle network for true choice in how we get around. There's going to be a lot more apartments going in along Great North Road. That will mean a lot more people, and if they don't have the choice to walk and cycle, then they will inadvertently have to drive, and that will increase congestion and it will increase the danger of the road space. This Great North Road project future-proofs the street space for that influx of people. As you know, it's a whole street upgrade. It's got lots of awesome stuff that we want to see, including larger loader zones and more trees. It's been over 13 years since it began, when I was in high school, and that whole time it's had a lot of support from the community, which is probably why more than 50 organisations have joined us in the call for it to proceed, including the K Road Business Association, Ponsonby Business Association, the Greyland Residents Association, 7 schools along the route, and businesses like Urgent Couriers, whose employees cycle the route as part of their job. The community want this. So what do you lose if you do not do it? You risk losing the co-funding from central government and the stormwater. You risk losing people's lives and well-being when they're just trying to travel to where they want to go. And it sounds dramatic, but I strongly believe that every day that we delay, we are risking the life and safety of children who are just trying to walk and cycle to school. This is a really great project, and you can confidently give Auckland Transport positive feedback and request that they start the project ASAP. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fionn, for a very good presentation. I have a couple of questions from Councillor Darby and Councillor Simpson. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. Thank you all. Would you like to just comment on some alternative proposals? The previous speakers suggested that you could take a slalom course on a bicycle through some much safer streets, which is an acknowledgement that the Great North Road is actually unsafe, which is what you were saying here today. So, as a cyclist and as a walker and as a motorist, I tend to take the Desire Line, the most direct route. Are cyclists any different in that regard? Is it reasonable for them to be taken on slalom courses down valleys and up streets, down streets, etc.? Or will a cyclist just take the Desire Line, the quickest route, and they will also take on the risk if that route is dangerous, as is Great North Road? That's the first part. Can that be solved by just using the pavements? And the third part is, do you consider this project in any way so-called gold-plated?
Good, it's 3. I'll try my best to remember those 3 questions. So, yes, everyone takes the most direct route. They want to go directly to where they want to go. You do that when you're driving. You do that when you're taking public transport. You want to take the most direct route, the fastest route. And it's no different than when you're cycling. But if it feels too unsafe, people will just not cycle, and that will mean more cars on the road and more congestion and more traffic jams, and nobody wants that. So for the rest of the people who want to stay in their cars, you want a free-flowing road. 56% of Aucklanders say that they will cycle if it's safe enough. They need a direct route to where they want to go in order to make that choice. What was the other question?
Gold-plated was the final question. Do you
Thank
consider
you,
gold-plated?
and thank you. And the footpath. So some people already take the footpath, as you can see, when it feels too unsafe, but that's not good for pedestrians and for people with mobility difficulties. As Gail has pointed out, there is a conflict between pedestrians and people cycling when they share the same space, especially if someone cycling goes fast past someone walking. That can throw them off balance if they have balance difficulties, and it can be quite dangerous. And also when there's a lot of driveways and cars coming in and out of driveways, it can be really safe for the cyclists on the footpath. So it is not a safe alternative. Having them on the road in a protected space is the best option in terms of keeping everyone in the corridor safe. And in terms of gold-plated, I really think the cycleway is not gold-plated at all. If you look at the Auckland Transport report that you've been given, it says that it's being done with cheap on-road concrete separators. And I did the maths.
Could y'all shut up?
Excuse me.
No.
Can we just have a little bit of order, please? I think we can do without the comments from the audience. And could you just finish your question, Fionn? Thank you.
Sure. So in the report from Auckland Transport, it says 3.6 million is on the cycleway, whereas 28.1 million is on the whole project. And there's a lot of benefits from the whole project altogether. And that 3.6 million on the cycleway is only 12% of the whole project. Also, if you took that cycleway out, you would lose a lot of benefits and you'd have to reconsult. It would mean more time and it would mean more money. So as a whole, the project itself is fantastic, but the cycleway part of it is not gold-plated at all.
Okay, thank you. Final question, Councillor Simpson.
Thank you for your presentation. Can I just confirm what you said in the slide before, that your advocacy was supported by the Residents Association and the local board?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Do you want to comment?
I'm actually from Greyland Residents Association. We definitely support them. Incidentally, that very intersection, I was bowled off my bike by a car making a right-hand turn into McDonald's, looking for the gap, not the cyclist. And just a point on direct routes, you're absolutely right. Cyclists will take the direct route. Any other route that's been proposed involves hills, and fine in a car, but on a bike, when you're using your muscles, you take the flattest route, which is Great North Road. And Great North Road has the width, all the side streets are so narrow, you'd have to take away residents parking on the street to put a cycle lane in. It's just not workable.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. And as I said, we'll thank everyone at the end.